passengers you have in the car, the greater your risk of crashing. So you want to reduce the number of passengers. More states have a graduated licensing system. They reduce the number of people. You can't drive after, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night. You're probably saying, man, that sucks. And I get it. But you're a teen driver. You fall asleep at the wheel. You get easily distracted. You're highly emotional. That's what you are as a teenager. Around 24, 25, your hormones calm down. Your brain is fully developed. Then your insurance rates drop down. So myself, I'm an instructor, I'm a parent. If I can get you to 21, 24, 25, you're probably going to live a long time. A lot of kids die in car accidents. So I'm letting you know segment 2 was designed so you can beat those odds, but it's up to your mom. It's up to your dad. I'm only one layer in the whole process. So increase 44% when carrying one passenger. So if you have one friend in the car, that's 44% chance that you're going to crash, you're going to have an accident, or you could die, right? It doubles when you have two people in there, 88%. So if you have two people, then you're going to be listening to the conversation. Someone's going to be talking to you. The friend in the front is going to be talking to you. In the back, you're going to be listening, but you really should be focused on driving. Okay. It quadruples when you have three people. So what do we say on the summary of this? You want to limit the number of people in your car. Some of you will listen, some of you won't. The young driver is killed in approximately 1/3 of all fatal crashes involving young drivers. So we want to get you to reduce those odds. In fatal crashes involving young drivers, passengers in the young driver's vehicle account for 50% of the fatal crashes. So in 50% of crashes, because you're a young driver, that young driver's like 14 to say 20, the more people you have, the more likely you are to crash. While other teens in the car, male drivers were nearly 6 times more likely to perform illegal maneuvers. I didn't say male drivers were better. I didn't say male drivers were worse. Male drivers are performing illegal maneuvers, maybe making a left turn when they shouldn't, maybe making a U-turn when they shouldn't, maybe cutting off several trucks to get off the expressway. So you need to understand this. Males tend to be more aggressive. The insurance reflects that, okay? So if males have other friends in the car, they're going to drive more aggressive. They're going to show off. If you have your dad's Trackhawk, Scat Pack, Hellcat, you got 707 horsepower, you're going to push the gas. You're not going to play around. You have one of the fastest vehicles out there. But if you don't understand and respect that power, you're going to have a very short life, and I'm going to be crying. Your teachers are going to be crying. The doctors are going to be crying because we're going to be going to your funeral. What don't you understand? I want you to pick one of the discussion items and talk about it. I'm just going to read them and go forward. How do you reduce distraction while driving? Okay, you need to figure that out. How do you reduce distraction while driving when you have peer passengers in your vehicle? Number 2, being a passenger in a young driver's vehicle is more dangerous than being the driver. How do you reduce the risk when you are a passenger in a young driver's vehicle? It's kind of self-explanatory, but some of you won't listen. What have you discussed with your parents about limiting the number of passengers? Some of you have discussed this, some of you have not. I'm not your parent. I'm simply an instructor who cares about you. I'm a teacher who cares about you. You're going to make those decisions with your mom and dad. If they don't enforce the rules, you're going to have a bunch of kids in the car. If they do enforce the rules, you may have 1 or you may have 0. Your friends will laugh at you, but you'll be alive. Okay? Why do states have those segment 2 licensing passenger restrictions? You're probably saying a bunch of old people did it. Well, those old people care about you. Those young people care about you. Remember, your age group is more likely to die in an automotive crash than someone 21 to 27, someone 27 to 37, someone 37. You get what I'm saying? You got to make it to 21. You got to make it to 24. Then you'll be able to make a decision. So I want you to respond to one of these discussion items. You're an adult. I'm not going to hold your hand and say pick one. I'm going to keep moving. Fact sheet 5. What types of vehicles are young drivers driving? I need you to put the year, make, and model of the type of car you're driving. Again, if you don't know the year, make, and model, then you're not really, as I'm saying, you're not really connected to the type of vehicle. Again, I need you to put the year of your car or truck, the make, and the model. Is it a two-door? Is it a four-door? Is it a Ram 1500? Is it a Ford F-150? You need to know the year, make, and model. Why? Some cars are smaller. They don't offer a lot of protection. Some cars are bigger. They offer a lot of protection. Some trucks are smaller. They offer a little protection. Some cars and trucks are bigger. There's crash statistics on teens and adults who have fatalities. What type of car are they driving? What type of truck are they driving? What's their speed involved? In fatal crashes involving young drivers, 74.5% were driving vehicles that are 10 years old or older. What does this mean? So you're saying it's 2024. If I'm driving a 2014, could my odds of being in a fatal crash increase? They could be, because maybe you don't have lane departure. Maybe you don't have adaptive cruise control. We will not blame it on technology. Technology is supposed to save your life, not take your life. Okay? I'm summarizing this year, young adults. I'm not going to make you copy this down. Really, you should be copying every word down. It's your life. And I'll be seeing you on Thursday. Any of you are going to pass this test or you're going to fail it. I'm very thorough. I go through with this. In fatal crashes involving young drivers, 35% of the vehicles driven are 15 years or older. So we're starting to see a trend. The older vehicle that you have, the more likely are you to have adaptive cruise control, lane departure. You're unlikely to have those safety things. Now, airbags, they're still there. Anti-lock brakes are still there. You still can crash, okay? If you have all the safety features, you still could crash, okay? And then I'm going to hit you with the discussion items. You pick one, you comment on it, you write about it. I'll cut and paste the chat into a Word document. Again, I'm not going to hold your hand. You're young adults. But the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety is one of our sources. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is one of our resources. A lot of people on the internet like to talk about this, like to talk about that. 9 and 3 is not a good position. 7 and 5 is not a good position. I use scholarly resources. We're looking at the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety. Okay, the IIHS. Okay, so a lot of people want to talk about stuff on the internet, but where's the sources? Okay, these items come from these scholarly sources. You want to write a good paper? You have good sources behind you. Good sources make your paper strong. They make you look very credible. If you don't have good sources, then you garbage. Real talk. So you pick one. Which is safer, an older vehicle or a new one? Why or why not? That could go either way. You pick. If you will be driving an older vehicle, what measures can you take to drive safer? Okay, we didn't say older vehicles aren't bad, but you have to take safety measures. If you have a new vehicle, 2024, what safety measures do you have to take? Okay, what types of vehicles do you drive? I ask you to type in the type of vehicles you drive, the year, make, and model. I'm going to check the chat right now to see if you even did that. Okay, give me 1 second. The year, make, and model. I'm looking for year, make, and model of your cars. A 2008 Chevy Cobalt, two-door. Thank you. I'm looking for other vehicles. A 2018 Cadillac four-door. Thank you. I'm looking for year, make, and model. I asked you guys to put that in. Some of you did not do that. So I'm going to keep it moving. Remember, your teacher asked you to do something. I'm trying to have you mentally think about the type of car or truck you have. Maybe you'll look on the internet. Well, I want to do research. How safe is my truck? Mom, how safe is my truck? What are you talking about? I don't know what type of truck that is. Dad, how safe is my truck? Well, look on the internet. You need to do your own research, right? I asked you to do this. So I'm just checking to see if you even did. A 2012 Dodge Durango. Thank you. A Ford Focus, 2020 four-door, a 2014 Focus. You should be connected with the car that you drive, okay? You have to do more than just put gas in and oil. You need to know, how much does it weigh? Can it turn over? How is there a safety recall? Okay, I'm just trying to get you to think, and I'm going to keep it moving. Also, what type of vehicles do you drive? What safety features does your vehicle have? Does it have anti-lock air brakes, right? Does it have airbags? Does it have stability control? Those things will save your life in case you hit a patch of ice. Visit these sites to learn more about the crash worthiness of your vehicle. Let's keep it moving. We're talking about risk awareness. In fatal crashes involving young drivers, 62% involve two or more vehicles. Maybe you ran a light. Maybe you merged out on an expressway, you didn't look over your shoulder. We're trying to give you real information. In fatal crashes involving young drivers, 36% were single vehicle. Maybe you hit a yield sign. Maybe you hit the curb. Maybe you ran a light and hit something, right? In fatal car crashes involving young drivers, 17.5% were head-on collisions. Those are the most dangerous. Please avoid those. In fatal car crashes involving young drivers, 2.9% were rear-end crashes. Maybe you weren't paying attention. Maybe you looked at your phone and then you reared at someone and they died. Okay? I'm keeping it moving. Don't want to stall you up. Why are most fatal crashes involving young drivers multi-car crashes? You pick one, you answer it. No, you don't have time to cut and paste and look at the internet. I'm asking you from your experience. My experience doesn't help you. I'm out of segment 2. I already have my license. Okay? But every time I teach a segment 1 or segment 2 or have a discussion about driving, I learn. You need to be in a bigger vehicle. You need to be safe. You need to limit the number of your passengers. You need to be in at night. Okay? You need 8 to 9 hours, 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Teens do not get enough sleep. You're playing sports. You're in school. You are taking driver's ed. You will be taking your driving test. Pretty soon you're going to be texting me, hey, can you give me a tip? Hey, what's that site? Okay, you're going to be reaching out to me. And when you take your test on Thursday, I'm going to help you, right? But you have to take the test. What type of crashes are most likely to result in a fatality for young drivers? We talked about this. You need to look at the information. Is it a rear-end collision? Is it a head-on? Is it a single vehicle incident? Is it involving 2 or more vehicles? You have numbers. The numbers don't lie. This is why I like data. I want to keep going. There's a lot. What are the road and weather conditions in fatal car crashes? Fatal car crashes involving young drivers, fair conditions. It's going to be on the test. So your age group has accidents when the weather is clear and beautiful. Maybe you're not paying attention. Maybe it doesn't matter who I vote for. I'm a patriot. A patriot loves their country. Are you a patriot? Next, fatal car crashes 70% of the time happen on dry surfaces. So this means you're distracted or not paying attention. Fatal car crashes involving young drivers happen on wet roads. Maybe you're going too fast. Maybe your tires are worn out. Okay. And fatal car crashes involving young drivers, they happen in rainy weather. Okay. We're giving you some statistical information, and you're going to have it on your test. No one should fail the test. If you don't, you didn't study. And fatal car crashes involving young drivers, 8.8% happen on snowy weather conditions, 4.4% on things that are on the icy roads. Let's look at our discussion questions. What is the significance of most young driver fatal car crashes on dry road surfaces and weather conditions? You pick one, you write your answer. Do adverse weather and road conditions affect teen drivers? Why or why not? If you don't know what adverse weather conditions are, then you really shouldn't be driving. Adverse weather conditions, rain, snow, fog. You should be driving slower than the basic speed limit. If you drive at the speed limit and rain, sleet, or fog, or snow, you will get a ticket. It's called the basic speed law. Jocelyn, you okay? Like you're falling asleep. Hey, speaking of falling asleep, during this time period, this is when most people fall asleep. That 2 to 5:30 time period, this is when our clocks kind of shut down. So if you don't get enough sleep at night, during this time period, it happens to all of us, you will shut down. Okay, so what experiences do you have in wet weather, snowy or icy? What did you do different? Drive slower, call people and say, listen, I'm going to be late. Okay, and usually you're 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late. Most people are understanding. So if it's bad weather, you need to call. Let's keep going. 58.4% of young driver fatal car crashes were males. 41% were females. So we know males tend to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more assertive. They tend to show off with their friends. Females, not so much. People not wearing seatbelts are 30 times more likely to be ejected. We know some of you don't wear seatbelts. I'm not getting my shirt dirty. Okay, I got my dress on, right? Oh, I don't look good like that. Or I want to talk about people. No one cares. Seatbelts increase the chances of you surviving a crash by 50%. You see these numbers? Scholarly resources. OHSP, Seatbelt Fact Sheet. That's a scholarly source. Okay? So I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. I'm talking about scholarly resources. We're not talking about being a patriot. A patriot is someone who loves their country, being patriotic. I love my country and I follow the rules. America is the strongest country in the world. Most of us would agree. Some of you don't agree because you're random. Love your country, love our rules. We can do what we want, we can vote. We have to follow the rules. Your license is a privilege, not a right. It can be taken away. Other countries, we can't say that. So you got to wear seatbelts. 10% of young drivers involved in fatal crashes were not wearing seatbelts. That should never happen. Some of you were consuming alcohol as compared to others. If you consume alcohol, that first drop, you will not be focused. Your eyes will not be able to focus, no pun intended, because alcohol relaxes the muscles in your eye. Next, 14.6% of young drivers involved in fatal car crashes were using drugs compared to the 13. Some of you are saying, well, why are we talking about this? It's part of our curriculum. You will be tested on it. So if you don't understand why we're talking about alcohol awareness, defensive driving, then you haven't really been paying attention because you're going to have questions on your test. Why are young male drivers involved in fatal car crashes more than female drivers? You pick one. Why do some teen drivers choose not to wear seatbelts? Is it a smart thing to do? How will you address this? What if your friend doesn't wear a seatbelt? Are you going to say, oh, it's okay? No, dude, put on your seatbelt or I'm not driving. But some of you might not be strong enough to say that. It's called peer pressure. Why are there fewer alcohol-related fatalities involving young drivers? You pick one. You talk about it. What are the consequences of being convicted of driving under the influence of alcohol or marijuana? Our state is a marijuana state, just like a lot of states in the United States, because they have this to raise revenue and taxes, but we have a group, you guys can't smoke anyway because you're under 21. If you choose to do this, you have to go through the legal proceedings, but people are under the influence and driving. It's a felony. So if you have an accident, they test you and you test positive for a substance, you will lose your license and you will have stiffer jail penalties. Let's keep going. We're almost done. How big a factor are distractions? You should remember this. Distracted driving is an activity that diverts attention from driving. Talking, texting, your phone, eating, drinking, talking to people in your vehicle, fiddling with the radio, the navigation system, anything that takes you away. Okay? So you want to try to minimize that. Sending or receiving a text takes your eyes off the road for up to 5 seconds. At 55 miles an hour, you travel the entire length of the football field with your eyes closed. Okay? So reduce the texting. 1 out of 3, I don't know, we have 25, we have 100 people in here. 1 out of 3 who text say they're doing so while driving, which increases their risk of a crash by 23%. This is number 10. Let's look at our sources. Number 10, this comes from OHSP, Distracted Driving Facts. Okay? So when you have distracted driving facts, this is a resource. We also have the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So these are scholarly resources. This is from December of 2021. We have the National Highway Safety Transportation System. So be rest assured, this is high quality information. Okay, this will help you understand your test and do well. Why do you think, do you think you will be tempted to use your phone while driving? You need to make an honest decision. Research reveals that young drivers' brains are not fully developed to age 25. Okay, we have clinical research. I'm not just saying some random stuff. And I'm trying to really give you information to help you live. Okay, as young drivers, what impact might this have on their ability to drive safely? Your brain is developing. You're worrying about getting a scholarship. You're worrying about getting an AP US history. You're worrying about maybe your mom or dad might let you drive the car for the homecoming court. You're worried about passing your driver's ed test. Maybe you're tired in class. I don't know. Everyone is different. I don't worry about those things because I'm out of high school and we won our homecoming. What steps will you take to remain focused? Put the phone down. Don't worry about other people. Get home safe. Do you think that distractions are more or less likely to cause problems for inexperienced drivers? Why or why not? So these are some open-ended questions that are part of your discussion. Don't worry, I will test you. And again, let's look at the scholarly resources. This is the first 100 deadliest days of summer. Okay, National Highway Safety Transportation. These are scholarly sources that are peer-reviewed, and they're good, high-quality sources. Hey, let's look at the profile of fatal car crashes involving young drivers. This is their profile, and this is for our region. They're male. So you saying females don't die? Didn't say that. You have your license for at least 6 months. If you had your license for 6 months, you're level 2, please type it in. Okay. If you had your license for at least 6 months, please type it in. Okay. Type that in right now. Driving on a dry country road during daylight. Driving on country roads are very dangerous. They have a soft shoulder. They're crown shaped. There's not a lot of traction. They're not lights. Peer passengers in the vehicle. The more people you have in the vehicle, the more likely you are to crash. Distractions are present. Your phone, you're hungry, you got to get your 5-hour energy, your mom or dad is texting, your coach is testing, you left your cleats at home, you left your baseball bat at home. Failure to recognize a hazardous situation. The older you get, the better you get at recognizing hazardous multi-car vehicle crashes. The passenger is killed. So this is your profile of fatal car crashes involving young drivers. I like what you said. Do not disturb. I've had my learner's permit for more than 6 months. You're still in danger. This is why you're taking segment 2. Next. I've had my permit for more than 6 months. I've had my permit for at least 6 months. Thank you. I've had my permit for over 6 months. So if we could do a clinical research, you should get safer the longer you have your permit. And that's good. I haven't had mine for 6 months. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Had mine for over 6 months. Had my permit for more than 6 months, at least 6 months, over 6 months. Thank you. Had it for at least 6 months. So the longer you have your permit, the safer you should get. And around 21 to 24, your insurance will drop down because the insurance company say, okay, this person's been driving for 10 years. Remember, it takes 10 years to become a master. If you're 14, 24, 14-year-olds don't drive. You'll get your license, your road test around 16 and a half. 16, you're 26. 17, you're 27. Well, I'm 16 too. Well, at 16.6, you're going to have your full license. Then at 26.6, you're going to at least have 10 years. And then around 21 to 24, your insurance should go down if you have a good driving record. Okay? That was very powerful. Okay, all of you type in one thing you learned. All of you type in one thing you learned. Please do that right now. I passed my driving test last week. Awesome. Type in one thing you learned, please. Hey, we're just going over segment 2 information. This is bringing you value. Give it a thumbs up, right? I'm talking to you about real statistical information from the National Highway Safety Transportation, right? We're not just making random stuff up. And good instructors, we're talking about the National Highway Safety Transportation. We're talking about the fact sheet of the 100 deadliest days. We're talking about OHSP, seat belt fact sheet. So I talk to you with scholarly sources, and that's really important. So I asked you to put in what you learned. I'm going to keep it moving. Things are good. I'm going to look in the chat right now, and I want to see. I asked you, what did you learn? Snowy conditions. It's a less fatal percentage than normal day. I like what you said because really on clear dry weather, more young drivers have accidents, right? Insurance is very high. Yeah, thank you, my brother from Germany. Insurance is very high. Insurance is very high. This is why you're under your parents' insurance until you're around 21, 22, 23. Most of your parents' insurance will cover you till you're about 26. By then, you should be out of the house. You should be able to get some good insurance coverage. If you have a bad driving record, then no one will insure you, right? And every state is different. You need insurance to show your ability to cover for an accident in case you have an accident, right? Thank you. Snowy conditions, crashes more likely to occur with more passengers. Thank you. I appreciate that. Crashes go up dramatically if you have more than one person. Thank you. New vehicles and older vehicles both are likely to have accidents. I like that. Young teen drivers are more likely to get in fatal crashes because you're young, you're impulsive, you are learning how to become a good driver. You're learning from your instructor, you're learning from your mom, you're learning from your dad, you're watching social media, and over time, you'll become a good driver. Having more people in the car, higher chance of a crash. Thank you. I've learned that risk of distraction driving is much larger than you would think. Thank you. It is important to know about the safety features of your vehicle. You got to know, okay? And most crashes actually happen during the day, clear, dry weather. You're going to get an A. Seatbelts can increase, I like the word, increase the chance of survival because you're belted in. Older cars put younger drivers in more danger because of their safety features in place. I like what he said. We're not hating on older cars, but they don't have the safety features of new vehicles. You need to change how you drive. I love that. I love that. Give me 1 second. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay,